That ain't happening.
You could really get smiggity smacked.
Coming out in body bags, going to the morgue. That's what we talking about. That scares me so much to the point where I don't think I want to have kids. I can't even imagine walking into the hospital and not coming out. I just remember being in that room and not knowing what she was going to tell me. Whew. Get it together. I'm close. I was so close to getting cancer. I'm 26. I'm about to be 26 years old. I'm trying to. I can't breathe. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Angie, and I'm back. I'm back with another episode, and I made it a note to make sure that I drink during the actual podcast. I think I was a little bit nervous and really focused on trying to get everything together for the first episode, so I do apologize. I should stick to the actual name of the goddamn podcast, which is called On the Rocks, which means your girl needs to take a sip. So as you can see by the title, we are discussing having kids, and in true transparency, I have no idea the direction in which this episode is going to go. This is the first time I'm speaking on these topics, and I'm not so much of an emotional person, but I've started to realize that holding my feelings in is not helping me. So this would be the first time that I'm talking about my feelings revolving around having children. So I do want to put a disclaimer out, in case I feel like you can feel me changing in a sense throughout this episode, just because it's just like, damn, this is the first time I'm really truly talking about this stuff, and I have no idea how I'm going to react to me talking about it. So let's just put that out there before we even jump into it. So with that being said, it's going to be a heavy episode. It might run a little bit longer than the previous one because I really want to touch on these subjects in a way and not really rush. And also the drink is going to be a little bit heavier because it's a heavy topic. So when I was trying to figure out what cocktail would be most fitting for this episode, besides taking shots, obviously, I thought that Long Island iced tea would be most appropriate because it has all the damn alcohols you could ever imagine. So here is the drink. The purple cups are going to be my staple. So for those listening by way of audio, solo cup is where it's at. Damn, I made that shit strong. Yikes! Woo! So
I used to drink a lot, but then I called 1-800-995. I drink a lot, and I drink a little. You know.
I drink a little.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Angie, and remember, I am not a professional. I'm the bootleg bartender. Today, we are making a Long Island iced tea, baby. And that's why I made sure the background was red, because it's caution. You gotta be careful with this, my good sir, my good sis, because you could really get smiggity smacked. Okay, so be careful. Disclaimer: I don't like gin that much. Let me just add that because I might make drink with gin one day. I don't really have it that often. So it's definitely not a part of my bar roster in my house. So this does not include gin, FYI. Oh, excuse me. With that being said, let's get into it. Hi, friends. Look at the people at the table. Alright, I started with Patron first. I don't really use a lot in it, so just a little bit. Ba-da-ba-bow. Next, I use vodka, Tito's to be exact. Tito has been growing on me a lot lately this year. I don't know what's up with that. Next, you grab your rum, and I use Bacardi. I did go heavy-handed on the rum. You can pick one alcohol to go a little bit heavier. Rum was my preference. Next, I'm using some sweet and sour mix. So just pour a little bit of that into your mix so far. Then grab your Coke, open it up, and then just top off the rest with a splash or couple of splashes of Coke. Oh, you already know what we're about to do. Okay, just get to it. Just get right onto it. Okay, for decoration, I put a little lemon around the rim. I shouldn't have to tell you how to cut a lemon, you should know that. Guys, I got these cute ass ice cube holders, so I created this big ass cube, so I just put that in the glass. Okay. Give it one more stir. Okay. Take it out. Hurry up, bitch. Take it out. Okay. And then you just pour it right on over top of that big ass cube. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Oh. Pick it up. Show them. Yes, sir. Your Long Island iced tea.
Don't feel like you are subject to just using what I use. I did get kind of heavy-handed with the rum and with the vodka. I don't really do measurements, and I don't really tell you guys measurements because I'm not the type of person. But I would say in this drink, for this particular episode, I did get a little heavy-handed with the the vodka and the rum, and went a little light on the tequila. But ultimately, the shit's still strong as fuck. So, moving into what is going to be our ice topics for today. So obviously having kids is the greater topic of this episode, but the ice topics will be the smaller sections that we go into, and they go as followed. Sorry, y'all, I was pre-gaming before, so excuse me. And I'm also kind of nervous. Like I said before, I don't know the direction in which this is going to go, and I'm kind of low-key scared. So the first topic is fear of dying. Not the first topic. The first ice topic is fear of dying. The second ice topic is fear of having a broken home. And the third ice topic is fear of being a bad mother. So let's jump into the first one, which is fear of dying. And I could honestly do this entire episode based on that. For those of you all that haven't really been paying attention to what's been happening to black women as they enter these hospitals, you know, going in with the intent that they're coming out with their children that they have birthed, and you know, it doesn't work that way. I don't know at what point did we start to see such an increase in number. I think more so it's kind of always really been there, especially as we've been in a place where black people have been allowed to get serviced in hospitals. But you already know the treatment that we get, both men and women, when they go into a hospital to seek help. But I don't think it's been as publicized as it has been within the last 4 or 5 years or something. I've noticed, and it might even been earlier than that, but I've noticed that I really started to pay attention to it as I kind of came into my 20s. But like I said, the data could definitely be there. The numbers, the high numbers could definitely be there, but I just didn't really pay attention until I got of that quote unquote adult age, right? So women go into these hospitals with the intent that they will be cared for, taken care of, have a safe birth with no mishaps, and you just see an increase of number of black women that don't make it. And it's scary. It's scary as fuck. And I can't even imagine walking into the hospital and not coming out. And it's the crazy thing is it's not even like based on complications, and sometimes it is, but the trigger points for that is racism. Yet again, another prime example of how black people are treated. And it's scary. It's really scary. And to circle back and bring it to me, that scares me so much to the point where I don't think I want to have kids. This is my mindset right now. A lot of factors are playing into how I feel, but majority of it is the fact that I'm seeing so many of my big boobs. Welcome to New York. I'm seeing so many of my black sisters dying at the hands of other races, majority white races, but there are some other, obviously there are other types of doctors, and it's scary. And to those fathers that go in there with the intent that they're going to come out with their son or their daughter, or daughters or sons, depending on what type of pregnancy that mom has, that they will come home together as a family. And now you start to see men going into the hospitals with their wives, with their baby mamas, and they're the only people coming out sometimes. It's either what was 3 is now 2, or what was 3 is now 1. And I can't imagine how those men, the ones that actually want to step the fuck up, because there's men that don't, but that's a whole other conversation. We're talking about the ones that step up and want to do their duty to be a parent, going in there thinking that it's just going to be, everybody playing a hand. The mom is going to recover well. I'm going to bring the children home, and we're gonna live our lives. And their worlds get so shaken up so quickly because the mom doesn't make it, and the child is left with a father, or the guy is left with nobody, no child, no wife, no baby mama, no nothing. Like, when you really think about that shit is scary. While I want to birth and bring a new life into this world, and continue my legacy, and be a loving mom, and give that kind of joy to whoever I'm with, and let them play that role of being a good dad, it's just like fear is really taking over my spirit when I think about the aspect of children. And now that I'm older, I don't hear about it so much from my family. You have those family members that's like, oh, you getting old now, when you want to pop out the babies, and da-da-da-da-da. My mom is not like that, and my aunts are not like that. They're not so aggressive with it, but it does come up. It does come up, and sometimes I don't want to talk about it. It's like, I'm not saying I don't want kids, but I'm saying that I'm not really comfortable going through the possibility of going into those hospitals and dealing with those racist doctors, and me losing my life, or me on the brink of dying because a doctor wasn't paying attention to what I was asking, or if I felt uncomfortable or I was in pain and I felt in my spirit that something was wrong and I brought it to their attention and there was no action on it. It causes me to be taken away from my family. It causes me to be taken away from my child that I've fucking had in my stomach for 9 months. And all this preparation and time that went into making sure that I can bring my child or children home with me, and it gets taken away in a second off of a motherfucker that doesn't like me because of the color of my skin. And I know people die every day. People do die every day. They do. People do die every day. But where there's a soul difference is the black people that die every day because people don't like us because of the color of our skin and our capabilities, and basically that we fucking did everything, invented everything, created everything, and y'all hoes is mad. But your service, your responsibility as a doctor is to take care of me, motherfucker. Take care of me. Why is it that I gotta constantly read the numbers, the statistics revolving around black women that don't make it? Or the black women that almost died because their needs and concerns for their health fell on deaf ears. But you want me to be a mother. And you want me to be happy about bringing a child into this world when, bitch, I don't even know if I'm going to have the fucking ability to do that. It's frustrating. And it makes me mad. And it makes me sad sometimes. In the perfect world, when you grow up, you don't really know about all these extra things. Nobody ever talks about, to the little girls, you want to have a child? Oh, that's great. Yeah, you should do that. That would be amazing. But we don't tell these children that, yeah, you want to have a child, but you might not make it because somebody really doesn't like the color of your skin. Somebody don't like you because of the way you look. So they don't move as fast on you because you ain't light skin, white. I'm not saying light skin. I'm just saying like not my light skinned people, but like your color is darker. You're black. They don't care about you. But your responsibility is to help people and take care of people, no matter the color of their skin. But do people really do that? And it's sad. It is scary. It is scary, y'all. I want to talk about this most recent article that I saw come up on CNN, I think, about black women dying. And like I said to my point before, it's just like we already knew the numbers were high. But just to know that basically on a daily basis there's mothers that go into these hospitals and they don't come out, or they come out but they have stories to tell of how horrible they were treated in their time throughout the hospitals. And I feel bad for those that had some complications and have to stay a little bit longer after birth. I can only imagine, being in that environment longer than what you thought you were going to be because, something happens. But then it kind of gets to the point where the racism is so strong, it's hard to defer if it really was a complication, based on the woman, the body of the woman and how her body reacted to having a child, or was it solely based on the lag time of the doctors not addressing certain issues in a fair time? Did that lead to the complications? It just really makes you wonder what the hell is going on. And it makes me more and more moving away from that happiness of bringing someone into the world. Like, each year in the United States, about 700 to 1,200 women die from pregnancy or complications, or childbirth complications, and black women are about 3 to 4 times likely to die of pregnancy or delivery complications than white women. Child. Then they want to try to bring in health problems into it. Black people are obese. Black people don't take care of themselves. That's like when we talk about racism and how black people are being killed by the police. The argument to that, the debate, the great debate to that is, well, black people kill other black people all the time. Bitch, we ain't talking about that. We talking about why these black women going up in this motherfucking hospital, going up in these hospitals and not coming out. Going into these hospitals, coming out in body bags, going to the morgue. That's what we talking about. But Karen, Sarah, and Jessica and Jill could go into the hospital just fine. Why is that? Why is that? Child. Okay, very well. Next topic. Next ice topic. Fear of having a broken home. So let's dive into this a little bit. When I say fear of having a broken home, I'm talking about the baby mama, baby daddy situation. And while I'm privy to it, I grew up in a broken home. My parents divorced when I was 4 or 5, and he remarried, and it's a shit show, and it still is a shit show. Growing up, I was jealous of those people that had two-parent households. And as I got older, understanding that everybody has their problems, but when you're younger, it's just like it affects you a little bit differently. And my fear is getting into, obviously making the decision with somebody to bring a child into this world with hopes that we would stay together, be together, and hopefully, ideally, like I would like to be married and go that route. But this thing called when we're in this thing called life, sometimes our lives don't go as planned, right? So, in the instance that I do have a child with somebody that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and it doesn't work out, that scares me, because of my own personal upbringing and dealing with having to grow up in a broken home. I know there's some people that have the good capability of co-parenting, and it's fair, and there's equal amount of time split between both parents, but I didn't have that. And I noticed that sometimes some men get into these situations where they feel like having the child is something that they want to be a part of, but as it happens and they start to see the responsibilities, they kind of fade away, and we have the mom left to be that mom and that father, which a woman can never really be a father, but they do have to play those roles. So for me, I don't know why. I think about it, because as people, sometimes that person isn't meant to be in your life, and you have to go through things to realize that person is not meant to be in your life. And it's easier for me when I go through situations like that, because I have no ties to that person, and we could, make the decision to go our separate ways. But thinking about that with a child, and thinking about that upbringing, how it changes the upbringing of that child, that is a scary situation, because I want to do better than what I received. And not to say that my life was horrible, but some of the issues that I have, I would never want my child to feel the way about certain things that I feel and felt, And some of those things stem because I didn't have a mother-father type of lifestyle in my house. It was more so me and my mom. And it's still really me and my mom. Working towards change with my father. And I do have an episode that I'm speaking on pertaining to, growing up in a broken home, so, and elaborating on that. But it's nothing that I want for my child. But realistically, when we're human, so it's sad to say that while I might want the person that I decide to have a child with to be in my life forever, we're human and shit happens, and it may not happen that way. So like, what do I do? I think about this stuff a lot more now that I'm older. I actually have a health problem, as many women face. You see a lot more health issues amongst women in the Black community, and I it was like my world was kind of shook last year. I knew something wasn't right. So, you know, what do you do when something isn't right? You go to the doctor. And a lot of people don't go to the doctor. So here, if something ain't right, go to the doctor, you know. Don't try to diagnose yourself. Sometimes WebMD don't know what they talking about, and WebMD trying to kill you. So just don't do it. Go seek help. Go seek help, and sometimes even go for second opinions. I knew something wasn't right years ago. I went to the doctor. I took what she said very heavily. She put me on the birth control. I had irregular periods, and then it was still irregular, but they became heavy, like bleeding for days, sometimes months at a time. And I knew that it wasn't right. So I went back to the doctor. I went to the doctor again because it got worse. And I was just like, what she told me the first time is not right. I need to figure something out, because the way that I'm bleeding and the longevity of my periods is not accurate. So I did the biopsy. It was painful. It was a painful experience. I did the biopsy, and you know, you wait for your results, and your heart is just like, I hope this is good news. I hope what she's going to tell me is good. And I remember calling her, because she told me about the time frame when it was going to be due, when the results were going to be ready. I called her, and she said, can you come in? And I'm like, you can tell me over the phone? It's not that she couldn't tell me over the phone. It's just like, I've been dealing with her, so, you know, results and stuff, we've been able to talk about it over the phone and then plan out our next steps. But when she called me into the office, I knew that this time it was going to be different. And I knew that this time something serious was going on. I didn't know what, but I knew it was serious. And then when I got to the office and they put me in this consultation room, it was like I was in there for 10 minutes, and it was the longest 10 minutes of my life, because I'm just like, what is she about to tell me? And my eyes is, I'm getting a little hot right now, and I kind of feel my eyes doing this thing. I just remember being in that room and not knowing what she was going to tell me. Whew. Get it together. I didn't know what she was going to tell me. And if I was in there for another 5 minutes, I probably would have just psyched myself out to the point where I would have passed out. She came in there and she told me, she was saying all these fucking big words. Like, what were you saying? What are you saying? And in my mind, I'm like, Angie, she's saying big words, and that doesn't sound good. You know? What the fuck is she saying? What is she talking about? I can't comprehend. I'm trying to listen to her, but I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what are you saying? She told me, based on my results, I had you know, 2 type of things that she was diagnosing me with. Endometrial hyperplasia without atopesia or something. Bitch, I don't fucking know, okay? I'm not a doctor. And she also diagnosed me with I gotta look this one up, proliferative endometrium basically I am producing a lot of estrogen in my body, and long story short, I'm on medication and I don't have periods anymore, so my process of having children is not going to be your normal process anymore. I have to connect with her and really go through some of the steps, and I don't even know what the fuck they are because I'm still trying to process everything right now, and really was really stuck on the fact that she said, I'm glad that you came in, because if you waited any longer you would have had uterine cancer. And then I just think about, what if I was one of those people and I was just like, man, I know something's not right, but it is what it is. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep, just doing me. And God put it on my heart. He was like, something is not right. Something is right. It's not right. You need to find out what's going on. And I just keep thinking about her saying, like, if you didn't come in, it would have moved into uterine cancer. I'm 25 years old. I'm about to be 26 very, very soon. Hell, in a couple of weeks. And I was trying to process what she was telling me. Like, I really was trying to take it in, but I'm still stuck on the fact that you basically told me that I was like, I'm close. I was so close to getting cancer. I'm 26. I'm about to be 26 years old. I'm trying to. I can't breathe. So it's been rough, and this is part of like the first time me really talking about it. But it's important to realize that it was heavy enough on my heart, and I knew something wasn't right, and God put it on me to go figure out what's going on, and it was a blessing in disguise. I did another biopsy earlier this year, and the medicine is working. So I'm in a more stable position than what I was when I came into 2020. So I just think about how hard it is for women, and I think about how hard it is for black women, and I don't know if me having these two diagnoses will affect me from a childbirth standpoint. I don't know how far this will play into complications that I might have if I do decide to have a child. So I'm thinking about all of these things, and nothing is swaying me in the direction where I'm saying I'm so ready to have a child. It's actually, every time I think about a lot of the things that we experience as black women, is swaying me in the opposite direction. It's swaying me in a way that's just like, I don't want to do it. And that little girl inside of me, because we all have our little girl, little boy moments. That little girl in me that wants the amazing family. It's just like, at least try, or at least think about it. Don't count it out right now. There's ways to navigate through, what you're going through from a health perspective, and in the instance that something happens, you have your faith, right? And you should be able to push forward, and whatever God has in store for you, is something that you should do. But it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's not an easy thing for me to digest and talk about when people are asking me about children, and I'm hearing other people talking about children, and it sparks a million trillion things in my mind, which ultimately leads down this path where it's just me by myself with no kids, because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the possible long list of issues that might come from me trying to have a kid. So this brings me to my last topic for today, the fear of being a bad mother. And then you ask yourself, okay, what is a good mother? A good mother. I just don't want to be someone that has a child and kind of not be able to save them. Realistically, that's not possible, but that scares me. Like, them feeling a certain way about how I raise them or how I treat them, and it affects them in a way that causes them to resent me, not love me, you know, not care about me. That plays a heavy part in my mind as well, because I'm just like, I don't want it to be bad. I don't want them to feel like I don't care for them, and I don't want to do something wrong and it just damages the love that they should have for me as a mother. So I constantly think about all of these things, and I just want to be great, but I don't want my child to walk all over me. I don't want that. That ain't happening. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like nobody has a cheat code for how to be a good parent. Everybody's different. But I just think about that possibility for some type of resentment towards me for whatever reason. I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know what the future is going to look like, and I don't know anything about anything. Sometimes I do think about the what ifs, and maybe that's just my personality and just who I am, but I'm trying to get out of that. I'm trying to look at the other side of the spectrum for various things, I'm not saying not be so negative, but I'm a realist. I think about the reality of things a lot, and sometimes I can find myself getting wrapped up into that. So I'm trying to find different ways. This whole having kids situation is just, some days I'm with it, some days I'm like, nah, it's not for me. But then I think to myself, okay, what good does that do for me? And then I think about, from a health perspective, going into the hospital and not coming out. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm here to share my story and my truth and my viewpoint on certain things, in hopes that other people understand me. My women, you're not alone. You and I, there are some women that think the same way that I have expressed to you today within this episode, and I hope that the guys also take an opportunity to listen. I hope they found insightful things in this episode, because it's good to understand a woman's perspective, and I appreciate those men out there that take the time to look at it from a different area outside of their own. Because a man will never understand what a lot of the women have to go through, and vice versa. But women go through shit. More shit than men. I'm just saying. So I hope that there's some guys out there listening to this episode and took away some key takeaways and understand that there might be a little bit of hesitant feelings with whoever you're with in regards to having a child. Not to say that she doesn't want to have one with you, but there's some issues, not issues because I don't really like the word, but there are some feelings that we have that really play a role in such a big decision to bring a child into the world, you know. So with that being said, I'm done talking. I gotta get my mind right. I'm a little scatterbrained right now inside. I'm hot, I'm sweating. This was heavy. This was a heavy topic, but I feel a lot better talking about it. Like I mentioned before, there's many things that I've been experiencing as of lately, or experienced in my time, and I haven't really talked about it, and that is what I'm utilizing this podcast to do, to speak my truth, but also let someone out there know, like, you're not alone if you're going through this, or bring awareness to somebody that may eventually go through this one day. I don't know. I'm just speaking on some real shit. So thanks for bearing with me. This episode was a little bit longer than the first, and you know, typically it will happen like that with some of the heavier topics that we have, just to give you more insight into the run of show for things for the podcast itself. I'll do more fun, light topics, but really want to also touch on some of the heavier topics as well, because I think it's important to talk about it, and I think it's important for other people to know that you don't have to go through certain things alone, or what you've experienced or gone through or are currently going through. There's other people out there going through the same thing. So once again, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me today. Just a quick recap. We had the what is this? Yeah, I'm actually leaving because this drink is sneaking up on me. Sorry if y'all heard it. My lipstick is all over. Long Island iced tea with tequila, Patron, vodka. I use a Tito's. Rum, I use Bacardi white rum. A little bit of Coke and some sweet and sour mix, and there it is. So once again, thank you all for listening. Episodes are uploaded every other Friday on the YouTube channel, as well as on podcast platforms. I'm your girl Angie, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.